Well, hello, folks. Welcome back to the channel. We are back with our FM26 beta save with Fulham, and we finished things off with in the last episode with a fantastic away victory over Newcastle. However, after having a really good start to the season, things have taken a turn, and a rather bad turn. We have played through the whole of December and have not won a single match. In fact, we've lost most of them. Let's go and have a look. Right, folks, take a look at this. After that wonderful 2-1 victory away at Newcastle, we were looking on fire. We had a lot of matches to play in December, and as you can see, things have not gone well. We sat in the top 4 at the start of December. We don't sit in the top 4 any longer. Let's have a little run through how things have got. Now, in fairness, we had some really, really tricky games in amongst them, and we did get some reasonable results as well. But in the main, it was all pretty terrible. We started off with a home match against Nottingham Forest, who aren't doing particularly well in the league. We just couldn't find the back of the net. And in fact, we just didn't play particularly well in this one. 0-0 draw, those things happen. We followed up with another 0-0 draw. This one we were terrible at going forward, created almost nothing. And derailed, who was doing so well up until then, just disappeared for the last 2 games. Played Bournemouth, and finally we scored a goal. This one came from Emil Smith-Rowe, took the lead, but then gave away a late goal with Sinistera. It wasn't a bad result. Getting a 1-1 draw away at Bournemouth, I wasn't too unhappy with. And then we followed that up, actually, with a Carabao Cup quarter-final match against Manchester United. They went 1-0 up very, very early on. And we were abysmal in this game, in all honesty. I'm not quite sure why the ratings are so good, because we created very little. United were all over us for pretty much the entire first half, just couldn't score. And it took until the 95th minute for Luke Harris to score a late goal. It was a dreadful bit of goalkeeping from the United keeper. Just dropped it in front of Harris, who scored his first goal for the club, which was very nice. Went to penalties in the quarterfinals of the Cup, and it was all going to plan until Joachim Andersen had a very tame penalty saved. So, yeah, our run of good results was ended there, in as much as we hadn't lost a game for quite some time. And then we went on a 4-game losing spree. Yes, home loss against Manchester City. This was always going to be tricky. And actually, the first half of this match, we played really well. Doué had pretty much the only good game he's played this month. He was really strong, scored a goal, and I think set up the own goal as well. And it was 2-2 at half time, looking really strong. I made some changes at half time, and Haaland just did us in the second half. We just could not deal with his quality of finishing. It was an even game, but we lost it 4-2. Then we had a couple of tough away games. Away at Villa, lost this 3-0, weren't even in the game. And then away against Chelsea, better game, in as much as they didn't create that much, but we created almost nothing. So I was very frustrated at this point. And we've just played Spurs. Drew this 2-2. This was a much better performance. Good performance from Iwobi on the left side. He was quite brilliant for the most of the game. We got a Sasa Lukic penalty after 55 minutes. We were much the better side until that. As soon as the penalty went in, we suddenly stopped playing. Brendan Johnson scored a couple, and we were 2-0, 2-1 down before we knew it. But Iwobi, who had a really good game, got the leveller, and that was probably the fair result. Now, the problem I think we are having is the squad size is just not very big. And we've had injuries, suspensions, and a bunch of other things during this December month, and a lot of games to fit in. And I think the players are just finding it difficult. So Desiree Doué has played a lot of games, but he's just been awful. And I don't think he's had time to recover. So we have got a few players back. We're playing Wolves today. Doué has been dropped, and we've told him he's not playing well enough. So he's starting the match on the bench. Kevin has come back from his spell in Brazil, and he played excellently. His rating has improved as well, so he looks like he might be able to offer something to the team. So we're going to have a very different starting lineup here against Wolves, but we've got a really strong bench as well. So let's dive in. Let's see if we can end this run of poor results and get a bit of green on the board. Before we get into that, let's just have a quick look at the Premier League table, because you'll get to see exactly what the problem is. Yeah, you can see on the right here, we sit in 8th. So 28 points is really not bad, because we're just 4 points shy of Spurs. But yeah, we should have been much, much better than this. And we've played a lot of the teams in this sort of top part of the table, so it's kind of understandable that it's been difficult, but we just need to be a bit better. Right, let's go in and let's play Wolves. Let me know your thoughts on what you would be doing in this situation. So, team we're going with. This is a very different team to what we've had recently. So, Unzola has come back after we've had Rodrigo Muniz in that centre. As you've seen, not one of our strikers has scored in December, so we're trying to find a way to make these players work. Kevin is coming in on the left, Traore on the right, with Smith Rowe just in behind. And then Lewis Miley, who's been out injured for the whole month, he's coming in to give King a little bit of a break, who has been knackered for so long. We've just had these 2 central midfielders who we can play for basically the whole month. Sanderberg has been out, and we don't really have a backup there. So Lukic is alongside him. And then the back line is Castagna, who's been out injured, Anderson, Ogbu, and Sessegnon. Robinson drops to the bench just because folks are tired. So we've actually been able to sort of move things around, and we'll see whether this freshening things up a little bit is going to make a difference. Right. Okay, here we go. Wolves had a really good season last year. This season it's been much more difficult for them. They sit in the bottom half of the table. So we've got to take advantage of this. And here is... Oh, I thought we were getting a chance there, but no. I'm going to be fascinated to see how Kevin does after returning from Brazil. I'm really hopeful we can get him playing some decent football. Nice little flick on there. Looked like we might be getting a chance there. We defended that well. Over the top. Early chance for Wolves. It was apparently put over by Eleno. I didn't see that. Well, Wolves have so far dominated everything at the minute, but in terms of possession, in terms of territory, but whilst they're having shots, there's nothing really happening in terms of like real chances. Arias puts it in. Whew, now there was a much better chance, Mosquera, with forcing Leno into a really strong save. So they've had 4 shots early on in this game, and we really have not seen anything. Can't seem to get out of the half. Wolves are pressing us, and I'm not sure whether it's just we're just not being creative enough. But here's Traore, maybe a chance here. Oh, Smith Rowe should have scored. Cracking save from Sarr, but we should absolutely be ahead at that point. Best chance of the game by a long shot. Oh, Kevin's done well there. But that is a dreadful clearance. Joao Gomez, there's literally nobody near him, and he still passes it into Traore. So Traore, he's trying to take Doué's position. Well, here we go. Oh, is that a push? Was that a push? Ooh, that looked like a push to me. Well, we look like we're getting back in the game, which is good. A slow start, which seems often the case. But we're starting to see some highlights, and we just need to be a little bit better in front of goal. Here's Lewis Miley. Has he got a chat? Oh, he's not going to score like that. Another shot over the top. Right. Who's this? Smith Rowe. Just going to look to chip this in. Can we actually win something with our head for once? Oh, Kevin. Wow. Volley from the edge of the area from Kevin. That would have been a nice one if it had dropped in. So lots and lots of positives sort of as we get into the 30th minute of the half. We've had some chances. We've caused them some real problems. But it's not been all our own way. Certainly Wolves had started very, very strongly. Oh my lord, that was dreadful ball. Jesus. Do not play that ball ever again. That is horrendous. Well, it looks like Wolves are now going into a little bit of a spell, seeing a few chances here from them. Goalkeeper having to make a decent save there. Again, Smith Rowe looking tired. I wonder whether in the centre, whether there's a place for Doué there. Right, here come Wolves again. We had a really good spell earlier. I'm just losing control of it a little bit. But still 0-0. And Arias, it's a lovely ball. What is the defender doing? That's horrific. Oh my lord. Come on. Well, Smith Rowe's looking knackered. We've got some decent players to bring on. Oh wow, that's offside, isn't it? Minetzi with the finish, but surely that's offside. He was standing right in front of the goalkeeper, wasn't he? That's Minetzi, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, it's unlucky. Deflected off Traore into Minetzi. Rubbish. Right, well, that's disappointing. 1-0 down. We can't keep losing matches. Can't keep not winning matches. Otherwise, we are going to be in all sorts of trouble. Here's Castagna. Come on. Beat his man. This is good. Oh, and yet again. Get the chance, but not the finish. Oh, here come Wolves straight down the other side. Oh, dear me. It's not the most high quality of games, really. But we sit 1-0 down at this point, and I'm not sure it's fully deserved, but we've not been brilliant, have we? I think we are going to go slightly more balanced. We might make some changes at half-time. Okay, 3 changes. King, Doué and Muniz are coming on. All 3 of those should be able to make a difference. Okay, Doué has won the ball back. I'm hoping that, dropping him and just telling him he's just not being good enough. It might be something that is, actually inspires him into playing a slight bit better, because we've just not seen anything for a month. Oh, yeah, again, we haven't actually seen that, to be honest, much of him actually getting the ball and running at people. It seems like all the attacks are coming down the other side. Ball in, and it's out. Need to be a bit better, folks. Come on. We've got other options to try as well. Though Kevin, I think there was definitely positives from Kevin. Come on. He's still yet to score. Josh King. I think 1-1 is probably at the minute would be the deserved scoreline. It's been, we haven't had the shots on target, but we've had chances. Well, Collier just nicks the ball off us. It's another thing we're not doing well enough is winning the ball back. Seem quite ineffective. When people run at us, we just let them run past. Oh, it's a lovely goal from Taiwo Awoniyi. I mean, he is a very, very good player in the air. Let's be fair about that. But we're not good enough at the minute. We shouldn't be 2-0 down, but yet just cannot find chances and cannot score the goals. It's a problem, folks. It is a problem. Need your help. Need your advice. So we brought Harris and Iwobi on. It's probably too little, too late at this point, but yeah, 2-0 down. The board are going to start getting itchy feet, you think. If you don't win a game for a month in the Premier League, no matter how you're doing. Oh, Doué, what was that header? What was that header? Just heading it out. Why? What on earth are you doing, mate? We spent all that money on Doué, and he, at the minute, is playing no better than like an academy graduate. It's dreadful. I don't know what is going on. Seen absolutely nothing from him. Let me know in the comments. This is my big question. Doué's playing terrible. How do we get the best out of him? What do we do to the tactic to get the best out of him? Because at the minute, we're getting absolutely zero out of him. Whereas a month ago, he would beat a team on his own. But here's a Wobie who getting past them, but then they take us down, and then we're just no good in the air. So it's a nice tactic. It works every time. Chips the ball in, and the physical Wolves side just better than us in the air, and we lose another one, and that was probably the worst of the lot, because that was against a team that are below us in the league, and one that we should be beating, and yeah, it was pretty even, but they had the possession. They just about had the XG, but I still think 1-1 was probably the scoreline. But the chances we created, we couldn't even get the shots on target. So we need to do something. Our strikers aren't scoring. Our wingers aren't performing. Our defence isn't defending. Now, you put those three things together, and that causes a massive problem. And that means that the outcome of that problem tends to be that you don't stay in a job for very long. Let's have a look what the board are thinking at the minute, and the fans. Why are players struggling in front of goals? Yeah, I'm open to suggestions. That's absolutely right. We haven't had the board saying anything just yet, and we are in January, so there's opportunity to bring some fresh faces in. We don't really have any wage budget to do that, but maybe that's one of the things that we need to do. So here we go. We are only B-, which isn't actually that bad. Supporters are pleased with the job we were doing. So, yeah. Well, that's not too bad at the minute. We've got a game against Rochdale next up. That might be quite an important one. I don't know what to do about this, folks. Let me know your thoughts. What would you do in this situation? How would you get things back running off? Would it be a complete change of tactical approach? Because I've tried that on a couple of occasions. Nothing's happened there. I still think that one of the big issues is the number of games at the minute, and I think we need to do a little bit more in the way of moving. I think we need to do a little bit more in the way of using the squad. Now we've actually got much of the squad back, and we've got one extra body in the squad in Kevin. So maybe things will change. So I'll come back at the end of January. Hopefully we'll have done maybe 1 or 2 bits of transfer business. I expect 1 player out, 1 player in, that sort of thing. It's not going to be much more than that. Hopefully we'll have turned things around a little bit and got some green dots on the board, and hopefully we will still be in a job. But until then, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.